What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, World Boxing Council President MAURICIO Sulaiman, board of 32 members, have revealed some new interesting information regarding what's going to take place in 2023 when it comes to world champions and making the best fights the best. And with that said, MAURICIO Sulaiman, he attests to the highly anticipated welterweight undisputed showdown between undefeated three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terrence Bud Crawford. 38 wins, no losses, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, and undefeated, unified, 3-belt WBC, WBA, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Earl the Truth Spence Jr., who is widely considered by many to be top 2, if not #1, but definitely top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, and Earl Truth Spence Jr., 28 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. They make up for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing for undisputed, and it's been a hard time to bring the two together to get this undisputed showdown. And there's other fights that just haven't happened because of, politics within the sport of boxing. You look at the situation between right now, currently as it stands in the heavyweight division, with undefeated 2-time heavyweight world champion, British superstar boxer Tyson and Gypsy King Fury, and Olympic gold medalist, 2-division world champion, undefeated, former cruiserweight undisputed, now unified heavyweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer Oleksandr Usyk. Well, they're having a hard time coming together. History shows. We saw the situation that took place with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. How long it took for the super middleweight division right now. Canelo Alvarez, as the undisputed super middleweight champion, he finally we got an undisputed champion there. But then you look at the middleweight division, where we have undefeated 2-division world champion, who was the reigning WBC middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, Jamal Lyons Only Charlo. He has the WBC belt. Gennady Triple G Golovkin, 2-time unified middleweight world champion, superstar boxer. He holds the IBF and the WBA titles. And then it was former 2-division world champion, undefeated superstar boxer Demetrius Boo Boo Andre with the WBO. And there's only been one unification bout, and that was Gennady Golovkin's last fight as the IBF champion. He unified against the WBA champion, Ryota Murata. And so it's difficult to get undisputed. And so now MAURICIO Sulaiman is stating that they're putting a new rule in place that will start in 2023 that will force two things. It would enforce two things. It's going to see us either have tournaments, in each division, or it's going to allow us to have champions mandated to fight champions, which is even better, in my opinion. So now you'll have champions ranked in other sanction bodies. So what MAURICIO Sulaiman is stating, that I don't agree with all the rules that the WBC comes up with, but this rule, I agree with this rule, and this change. And he said a change needs to come. These rules been in place for 60 years, and changes need to come. So he said that he's met with all the other sanction bodies, the World Boxing Association, WBA, President Gilberto Mendoza, International Boxing Federation, and Mr. Peebles, himself, and the WBO, World Boxing Organization, and they have all come to an agreement that they should be able to when you have a belt or more, to be able to have that champion ranked in the ranking system. So right now, as it stands, Errol Spence is the champion. He's not ranked in the WBO because he holds the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA. So he's not ranked in the WBL, or vice versa. Terrence Crawford is not ranked in those other sanctioned bodies because he's the WBO champion. Right? And that's a problem. Right? So instead of being individual, now you can be a mandatory for the champion and be a champion. And so he stated that it will give, extra perks to the champion to become a mandatory. So he says that they want to give champions the same perks that they give mandatory challengers. Now, the champion is still going to have to honor his mandatories, but also another champion can become the mandatory, or they're going to create a tournament that forces all the champions to have to eventually come together and face off against one another. We saw this in the Super 6 tournament, and he stated that another big reason and a big part that this rule is going to be in effect is what took place with Josh Taylor, who was the undisputed junior welterweight world champion, British superstar, undefeated world boxer. And Josh Taylor ended up having to vacate multiple belts, 2 belts, because of his mandatories. He can't honor 2 mandatories. He's only one person. He can't honor 2 mandatories and fight the biggest name fights at the same time. He just can't do it. And so he ended up having to get stripped of his titles, right? And so Mauricio Sulaiman stating that just simply is unfair, right? So they want to bring all together. So what will happen is, let's say you're the mandatory for the WBC and you're the mandatory for the WBO. Instead of you being the mandatory for the champion in the WBO ranking system, and the champion has to honor fighting you, or the WBC, no, those 2 guys. So the number 1 mandatory challenger in the WBC and the number 1 mandatory challenger in the WBO will have to face each other in the eliminator, and then the champion will have to face the winner of that fight. So it narrows it down. Instead of having I got a mandatory for the IBF, I got a mandatory for the WBA, I got a mandatory for the WBC. No, those mandatories will now be incorporated in a tournament as well. Okay, so now if you're the mandatory for the WBA and you're the mandatory for the WBC, well then you'll fight each other to see who fights the champion. That makes sense. That eliminates confusion, okay? And that allows us to get the fights we want to see. And it creates a round robin. And it also helps eliminate this side of the street talk, okay? Where you have one, for instance, the WBO belt resides with Top Rank ESPN. The WBC resides with PBC, Premier Box Champions. The WBA and IBF reside with DAZN and Matchroom. You understand? So no, now it eliminates all of those borders, and now it just is a pot filled with fighters, and the best going to have to fight the best. And I love this rule, and this would give us the opportunity for Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence to be mandated, where we'll have to go to a purse bid instead of us sitting here having to wait for them to negotiate. No, it will go to a purse bid like anything else. So it forces the best to fight the best. And this is an excellent rule. This is a great change in the sport of boxing. And this will work as long as everybody stays on board. The sanction bodies, in my opinion, you're going to make your money anyway. They're going to take their percentage regardless if this fighter has 4 belts, 1 belt, or 10. The WBO is going to get their percentage. The IBF is going to get their percentage. The WBC is going to get their percentage. If you're an undisputed champion, well, it's all combined and you're still going to get your share. So what difference does it make? Everybody forced to play nice in the sandbox. This is a rule that should have been incorporated instead of that franchise title that they tried to create, which just caused more confusion and issues within the sport of boxing. So I'm 1000% happy and glad that this is the case now, because this forces us to get the best fighting the best. Period. So you have guys like Gary Anton Russell, who's with the PBC, and you got Ryan Garcia, who's with DAZN and Golden Boy. Well, now Ryan Garcia and Gary Anton Russell are going to be mandated to fight each other to fight the champion. And it helps do away with all the regular titles as well. Period. And it's going to force, guess what? So now when you have individual fighters, they can't just move freely around. Oh, I'm going to pick and fight this guy, I'm going to fight that guy, because those guys are not going to be available. Now everybody's in a melting pot and everybody's going to have to shake. Period. This is great. This is a great rule, in my opinion. So hopefully everybody sticks to the plan, and hopefully it comes to fruition. And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.